What's going on, guys? Today I want to explain how I managed to cure my wrist and forearm pain without using drugs or seeing a medical professional. But before I do that, I want to give you a quick medical disclaimer, which is the fact that I'm a personal trainer, not a doctor. So if you do have a wrist injury or you're having wrist pains, always consult a professional before watching this YouTube video. But that said, I want to give you some scientific reasoning, and I want to explain to you like what really worked for me. So here's the thing. As you know, a couple months ago, I was doing Dark Souls gameplay, right? Got real fucking pissed, smashed my table, developed a little injury on the side of my wrist. And I thought it was nothing serious, so I just kept training through it, right? And eventually I started doing weighted dips. And the thing is, my body started giving me signals. And eventually, I was doing like 1 rep max dips every single week with about 5 plates. And I pretty much snapped my forearm and wrist area. I was in unbearable pain during my workout. Some of you guys may recall the session. I actually filmed it for you. And it was just very unpleasant. I couldn't do anything. So what I did, number one, is took a deload of 1 to 2 weeks where I did no pressing whatsoever. I continued doing my yoke training, my rows, all that type of stuff, but I did 0 presses, no benching, no fed pressing, no dips, because the area was just inflamed and it hurt like fucking hell. Although I will say that for my left side, occasionally I would do some dumbbell overhead pressing just to get a little bit of stimulation. And I also did some tricep pushdowns because I didn't experience any pain from it. But the point is, I took a 1 to 2 week deload. So if you're in that situation, if you just fuck something up, deload 1 to 2 weeks, no pressing, just stick to your rows if you can even do that. All right, so then once that deload was done, now it was time to strengthen the area. Yeah, I'm a fucking dumbass sometimes. I did not see a medical professional. I like to take things into my own hands. And because I have an understanding of exercise science and the human body, I basically self-treated myself. The way I did this, number one, was by strengthening the wrist extensors. Here's what you do. You take a band like this. It could be any band for that matter. You put it between your fingers, just like that. And then you start opening up, okay? This right here is going to work the extensors. And you want to really flex at the top. You want to flex and feel everything being worked in the forearm area. This is very, very important to do, okay? Because so many guys, they're in constant wrist flexion. Whenever you pick something off the floor, it's not flexion necessarily, but you got to isometric contract more so here than here. You're like, how many times do you end up in this position here? How many times do you open up your hand and work your forearms a different way? That's why you got to work the extensors. So take a band, put it in, and just open up and do high reps. What I did was reps of 20 on each hand. Even though my left hand did not experience pain, I would just do this about 20 times. If you don't want to use this, if you want something a bit more premium, go on the Iron Mind website and get the Iron Mind open your hand band pack. And by the way, I'm not affiliated, so don't say, oh, you sell out, motherfucker. Screw you. So, finger extensions. This is really going to cure some of that golfer's elbow. It's going to get rid of all that pain that you have radiating downwards. The second exercise is going to be a wrist extension. So take a dumbbell, right, and just do this, right? I used about 5-10 pounds, really squeezed the muscle. I did high repetitions for about 20, and that was all that I needed, okay? And once you're done these 2 lifts, it's time to strengthen the tendons and ligaments through compound movements. Now, what I'm gonna suggest may sound a bit fucked up, but this will work for me, and I'm sure it's gonna work for you too. Start doing Zercher lifts, or Zercher, however you wanna call it, where you unrack the bar right here, okay? The result is that because you have a heavy weight being placed directly on the area that you just deloaded from, it's going to strengthen the tendons and ligaments. You will actually get thicker in this area. At first, you will experience bruising. At first, you will experience negative pains, right? And you will likely not be able to go heavy. But with time, as you grow stronger, you will get thicker in this area, and you will experience less pain. You won't even need a hoodie. You won't even need like anything. You'll be able to go in raw, right? Just with your fucking, like I do it on my tank top, right? I do my tank top. At first I use a hoodie, but you could do it with your tank top and just fucking feel the pressure being placed in that area. I'm telling you guys, once you get strong with this lift, you're not going to have pain in that area. It actually rejuvenates what you're doing. So what I did was Zercher rack pulls off different heights. I'll do low, medium, high. I did Zercher deadlifts off the floor. I did, like every time I had an opportunity to do Zercher lifts, I would do it. And yes, there was bruising. Yes, it was painful. But as I got stronger, the forearm pain completely went away. So that was the major compound movement that really helped me out. In addition to that, after your Zercher lifts, you want to start doing some hammer curls. And in particular, you want to flex your tricep at the bottom. So flex your triceps at the bottom, right, to get a really good deep range of motion. And at the top, you want to squeeze it. 5 sets of 20. 5 sets of 20, squeezing the muscles using a rather lighter weight. It could be between 20 and 30 pounds. If you're really fucking strong, maybe 40, but that's probably gonna be too much. So 5 by 20, hammer curl, squeeze the muscle. You could also do rope hammer curls. So get in the cable, grab a rope, start doing rope hammer curls. I guarantee you that it's going to put all that blood in the area. It's going to rejuvenate what you're doing, okay? In addition to that, if you want to go a different route, you can also do connective tissue work, which involves taking a band, putting it on top of your door, doing lots of band push downs, and then stepping inside of the band and doing band curls. Both are viable methods. It's going to make sure that the entire elbow region is not going to experience pain. And typically, when you have elbow problems, it radiates to the wrists and the forearms. So that can help you out tremendously. And then finally, you want to include some type of overloading exercise for holding heavy ass weights, because what you're going to find is that if you start going to pressing, that forearm and wrist pain is going to flare up. So what you need to do is overload your body, aka thicken the tendons and ligaments through doing special exercises. So what I would recommend is actually doing pin presses, not full range of motion, but 90 degrees and up pin presses. You could do board presses. You could do reverse band presses. You could do bench pressing with bands. Do exercises that overload the top of the lift. This is going to allow you to hold a heavier weight than that which you are normally able to handle. And once you get strong at this partial and you drop the weight back down to a regular range of motion, the weight's not going to feel heavy in your hands. So what I'm saying is this. Let's say you do a 455 reverse band bench, right? Now you drop the weight down to 315 without the bands. 315 is not going to hurt in your hands. You actually strengthen this entire area, and now you're good to go. Now you're injury free. That's what worked for me. I did a lot of slingshot work, a lot of reverse band work, and it pretty much cured the problem instantly. In addition to that, I used wrist wraps because it was not fully cured. Even after all the advice I gave you, I still had a little bit of pain. So in cases like that, you put on some wrist wraps, you're going to be all good. But this, my friends, is the pragmatic solution. I know, like, you guys are like, what the fuck? Where'd you come out of all this shit? But it's experience-based, it's exercise science-based. It has all the things you need to ensure that your wrists and forearms no longer hurt. I can give you some other advice too, right? I can make tons of videos on this topic, such as doing like contrast baths for your hands, you know, doing pinch work. Actually, pinch work helped me out too, not gonna lie. Doing wrist stretching, wrist push-ups. There's all kinds of other advice, but I'm giving you the meat and potatoes here. This is what worked for me, and I'm sure it's gonna work for you too, because it has all the basic foundations in strengthening the tendons and ligaments and just injury prevention in general. But again, this is based off my personal experience. It will work for me, and I think if it worked for me, it'll work for you too. So that's it for today's video. If you have wrist and forearm pain, try out this advice and let me know how it goes. So that's it. I will talk to you all next time.